Before the arenas, before the awards.
This is b4Nashville Live. Have a question for our guest?
Send it to us via Messenger.
Here's your host, George Davis.
And welcome back to Before Nashville, where we introduce the country stars of tomorrow to the country fans of today. Kind of a reintroduction tonight, as this guy is no stranger to Before Nashville, but he's been busy. And he's been doing some new music, and we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. And this guy, he's got such a great story. I mean, we're just going to jump into it. It's Dave Herrera. Dave, how are you, man?
Not bad. Thanks for having me again. I really appreciate it. It's always good to catch up with you.
Hey, I was glad when they reached out to me and asked about you being back on and hearing about the new single and stuff. And we're going to talk about that here in just a bit. But just remind folks kind of about you, you know, how you got into where you're at right now as far as music goes, what's been going on since we last saw you, things like that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just a normal dude trying to write stories. I just I see myself as a storyteller, and I try to incorporate music and some rhythm to get you dancing, get you having a good time. But I write about experiences that I have in life, try to share those with you, whether you relate or not. Hopefully you appreciate it. That's pretty much it. Since last time we spoke, we've been cranking out more tunes, working on more music, working on more music videos that you can check out on YouTube. So I think we've dropped Boys Were Back in Town, My First 6ix9ine, and now we just released the most recent one, Hella Country. So you can find those on your streaming platform as well. So check those out and show us some love, or give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, whether you like it or not like it. We appreciate all honesty.
Absolutely. Now, once you released Hella Country, of course, COVID reared its ugly head to everybody, and that kind of put a damper on a couple of things that you were trying to do with the single. And I hated that when I heard about it, because right now, I mean, I think one of the big things, especially if you're trying to get a single out to radio, the radio tour is an important thing. And yours kind of got a little bit shut down due to COVID, unfortunately. So how did you overcome that? I mean, what did you do to combat the fact that you weren't able to do the radio tour like you had hoped?
Yeah, you know, it's digital advertising. We kind of stepped it up on that platform and started honing in on certain cities and finding out which cities are showing us more streaming than others, so that we can build off that platform and then get out there and start, when we're back at shows, start focusing in on those cities to do live performances there, show love to the radio stations once we get back at it. I mean, our hopes is sometime next year is to get back after it in the Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee, Illinois areas and Iowa and stuff, and kind of shows if there's an availability, we're going to stop by radio and say hi and do some music festivals or whatever we can.
Right. I mean, and a lot of your folks are from the Midwest. We talked about that the last time. You seem to have a lot of followers from this area. I mean, you got them from all over. We're not, you know, I'm not saying it's just the Midwest, but it seems like the Midwest is kind of more honed into your type of music, which is kind of I guess the best way to put it, it has a comedic feel to it in some areas, but it's still very much storytelling country music. I mean, if you have to listen to some of the songs. Visiting Nashville, which was the first single, which was amazing because that was written after your first trip to Nashville, because you'd never been up until shortly before that.
Yeah, you're right. And I just took my experiences from Nashville. It incorporated what I felt when I was in the honky tonks or the clubs into a twisted country version of it.
Right.
And put it out there for all of you to listen to.
Right. And we kind of pushed that to the Nashville tourism people too, and never really found out anything, which I hated, because I thought that would be a great thing for them to put, you know, on their TV commercials and stuff like that. But it's still I don't know if they ever picked it up. I never heard anything back from a couple of people I sent it to. I don't know if you may have heard something on it or not, but it's a great song for that. I think they really need to look at it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just, I think maybe they just haven't had time, or I mean, they're genuinely support locals too, which I understand. And maybe because I'm an outsider, they're like, I don't know about this, but maybe sooner or later they'll give us some love. You know, the group that put on the Music City Grand Prix reached out, and they were going to use it for some things. So we had a short agreement written up for that. And then what what I think happened is the gentleman that owns Big Machine Records became a title sponsor, and he had the exclusive right on all music. So I think that kind of threw that out. But things happen for a reason, and I'm a firm believer in that. And if it's meant to be for somebody to use it back there, be more than happy to.
Right. And I mean, I'm with you. I absolutely think it would be a great song for that. And even though it's as you put it, it's from an outsider. The thing about it is, 99% of the people that go to Nashville are outsiders. I mean, they're not from Nashville.
I know.
Who better to tell the experience than an outsider? Hello.
That's what I thought. I was like, I'm showing you guys love. This is how I felt when visiting your city and your town. And it's a beautiful place. And I wanted to just share my story and my family and friends. I mean, there's people that have reached out to me that I don't even know that has said, hey, we're going to Nashville next year. This song is fun, and I can't wait to visit that place. It's always been on my bucket list. And other people that I know have never been there either. And I said, you're going to love it. It's cool. I mean, it's so much, it's entrenched with history on those streets. And I just said, you have to go for yourself and enjoy it and go from there. And
well, I can only say one thing about the fact that they haven't used it yet. And that wasn't it. So I guess should have been this one.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, I don't even want any monetary stuff for it. I'm like, you know what? If you guys use it, it's not even. I mean, it's not about that. I want you. If if it's fitting, it's fitting. If it's not, it's not. And I get it. If it's political, I get it. And I don't even want to have to go. I'm not going to go there. So yeah. I mean, there's no sense in it, but it's a really good song. If you haven't heard it yet, you need to check it out. Check out all the streaming platforms and look up Dave and listen to Visiting Nashville. Because if you're one of the, I don't know, probably I would say with the people in the U.S. and even around the world. So if you're one of the 500,000 people that have never visited Nashville and you think about the population of the world, it gives you it. And it does. It gives you a very realistic insight of what Nashville is, talking about the 3-floor honky tonks and, the bands and drinking I had the problem. The mule kicker. I had the problem with that the last time I could remember what it was called. You have too many of those, you'll forget it every time.
Yeah, apparently I have, and it's just killed those brain cells. That's what it is. Which was lemonade and
moonshine.
And moonshine, yeah, lemonade and moonshine mixed together.
You can get it at the Acme Feed and Seed.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah,
you need to go check that out. And I'm going to be back in Nashville in February, if not before. I know I'm going in February for the big country radio seminar. So
yeah, I'll be there too. So maybe I can say hi.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get together and we'll go have a mule kicker. How's that?
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, it's always good.
Or 2 or 5 or whatever. I am known for being in Nashville and getting drunk with artists, just so you know. So
it's all good, man. I'm just a normal dude that likes to have drinks too and have a good time. That's
it's a lot
and share experiences.
Exactly. So we'll have some fun down there. But anyway, now, I mean, you've kind of gone on from that song. And like you said, you've put out some more. And the latest one, Hella Country. I want to talk about the video for a minute. Well, we're going to play the song here in a little bit. But the video itself, it kind of reminds me, I want to put it like this. It's like a country Robert Palmer. With the girls in the band, except for the drummer. The drummer's a guy.
Who's Robert Palmer?
Did I screw that up? Addicted to Love.
Oh, okay.
Did I may have no, I think that's his name. Okay. But the video he did for Addicted to Love, the band was all girls.
Okay.
And so it kind of reminded me of that. I'm going.
So, so being in front of a camera always makes me nervous. I'm just,
right.
I don't know, it makes most people nervous, I'm sure, unless you just love the camera. But it makes it easier for me to invite family and friends into the video. So,
right.
We had family and friends in the video, and the drummer's a good buddy of mine, Ryan, and then the gals in the band are friends too. They're all local. So we just got together and we said, hey, you know what, let's just have a good time. And we're going to rock out on the back of this trailer at this vineyard setting and put this video together. So we did. I mean, we shot that whole thing in a day.
Right.
And then the next morning we ended up waking up at like 5:30 in the morning to go at the dust crop. I think it's a third shot in of the dust crop plane cruising over, and he's cropped in the rice fields. So we were chasing this damn thing around because I called the owner. I said, hey, when are you guys going to be out next? He says, hey, tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, we'll be at this corner and that corner. And I tell you, those guys were on exact time. We showed up there, and Sean jumps out the camera, and he gets a couple shots, and he didn't think they were good at all because his camera is really shaky.
Right.
So then the guy zips off, and then he cruises to the east, and then we're chasing him around over there, and then he cruises back to the west. And then we just said, hey, let's look at these shots that you took. So he looked at them, and they were actually the shots that we ended up using in the video. Wow. So it was kind of cool. But we shot that video in Wheatland, and then the vineyard part was at Wise Villa Vineyard in Lincoln, on the back of the trailer and in the vineyards and stuff like that.
Wow. And it's a really cool video. I like the video, and I like the, like I said, just the whole vibe of it, kind of that 80s rock vibe with, if you ever get a chance to watch the video for Addicted to Love, check that out. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about. If you had a girl drummer, I would have thought you took the idea from that video. But
got it. Yeah, we honestly, when we're putting these videos together, there's not even really much inspiration other than like brainstorming on what's the song about. Let's throw a quick storyboard together and go out there and shoot it. So maybe we need to advance our skills a little bit so we don't go back to the 80s.
Hey, that was the best videos. The 80s had the best videos. I mean,
okay, then we take it as a compliment. I'll let Sean know. Yeah.
I mean, I always thought that I grew up, when I remember when MTV launched. That's how old I am. So, it's not been 100 years for those of you who are thinking that. I'm not that old, but I'm in
You're a young man, George.
Close,
Yeah.
So, but now, I know with COVID, it really messed up your, like I said, the radio tour. But what about just touring in general? You getting out and doing shows? Did you have problems with shows canceling like a lot of folks did, or were you one of the lucky ones that you actually got to do some shows during that time?
No, we just focused on writing, putting videos together, putting production together to get more songs out. We're just trying to build more content. Right. So right now we're rehearsing, getting ready for some shows. So we're going to do some local stuff just to kind of put the set together and see what type of reactions we get to what we're planning on doing. Okay. And then we'll get after it next year is our goal. But yeah, we just focused on putting content together, really, George.
That's awesome.
So we have more for next year and the year after.
Now, are you planning at CRS? Are you planning a showcase for that?
We're working with the gentleman right now. He says he books a club each year, and he's invited us out to do a 3-song set there.
Okay.
So we're working on that. I don't have all the details on which day or the times or anything, but ideally we'd like to do that for sure.
Okay. Well, let me know, because we will be there. I've already got registered. I've already got all that stuff taken care of. I'm going to be there.
Okay, good.
I didn't have it last year.
We're visiting Nashville. Woo!
Right. We are visiting Nashville. We're going to play that song on repeat all the way up and down Broadway that day.
Good. I should rent a van and do that. Put some big speakers on the outside and just play my song.
Exactly. There you go. Or you could even, because you made a video for it too. I mean, I've seen like the trucks that have the video boards on them. You just rent one of those and drive it up and down. Well, you can't drive it up and down Broadway. Well, I guess, because they don't block it off.
No, yeah, you could.
So you could drive it up and down Broadway and blare it out that way. And that would be cool. That would definitely make the tourism board take notice.
You know what? I might do that.
There you go. We got that one
sponsored. I'll be like, it was George's idea. He gets all the clout.
That's right. I get all the tickets.
For sure. That's great.
All the citations for doing it wrong.
You got my mind going now.
Yeah.
Hey, as soon as we get off the phone, I'm gonna make a call to the mobile billboard service.
There you go. I know a guy in St. Louis, but that won't help you in Nashville because it would cost to kind of quote one of your songs, a hell of a lot of money.
Hell of a lot of not a gotta. A lot of money.
Exactly. There you go. A hell of a not a need investor. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So we need to find you an investor so we can get that done. But I think it would be great. Your PR company, I mean, Christy and Rachel and Alex, they need to take note. I don't know if they're watching or not, but they need to take note of that and say, hey, that might be a way to invest a little bit to get the first. Of course, you're just working the first song, but then what you do is you play that down Broadway and then you bring it back to back streets and then you're playing hella country.
You're right.
See, I got this all mapped out, man. I got you, buddy.
Christy needs to bring you on board too. That would be awesome.
That would be amazing. That would absolutely be amazing. But so now you're trying to get the content put together, and I know a lot of the stuff you're putting out digitally, as most people are right now. Yeah. But any plans on doing like maybe a vinyl or something down the road, like a hard copy for people? Because some people like me, I'm a big vinyl guy, and I like to, have the vinyl and hold the record and look at it, or even CDs. I mean, people still use those.
I haven't thought about that. I think once. I see. I'm trying to go out with single by single because it seems like everyone's attention span, including mine, is like you put on Spotify and you let it just rotate. Right. Most of my buddies and everyone I know, they're not really playing CDs much anymore. And then releasing a whole album. I mean, people will just go through it like, oh, I like this one song, and the rest of it's just
right.
And, I don't know. Maybe it's going to take me probably a few years to kind of build up more of a platform, and then we'll probably talk about releasing a full album and maybe consider doing some vinyl possibly.
Yeah, I'm just a big vinyl guy. I like vinyl. I mean, that's one of the things that any new vinyl I can get. I ordered one the other day, and I've got another one I've got to order that I promised an artist I would order. So I've got to get that done too.
It's so damn expensive though, isn't it? The digital stuff's easy. You're like,
yeah.
You just move it from an email down to a folder, from a folder up to like
exactly. Move it over to the folder on your phone. You plug your phone into your computer, you got your music folder, you plug it in there, and then you don't have to mess with getting it out, putting it on the turntable.
Yeah, the new generation, they don't want anything to do with that. So, but maybe some vinyl so we can make George happy, and maybe some local DJs. Like
there you go. Hey, I've got a couple of friends that are DJs in Nashville. They could do something on your songs. Let me tell you, I should send them visiting Nashville.
Have them play at the club and see what kind of
country, but I'm stuck on that right now.
Hopefully, it doesn't clear the dance floor. Man, we did that visiting Nashville, and it sent everybody for the bars. But I tell you what, the club owner loved it.
Exactly. Yeah, he was ecstatic because he made more money that night than he's made in 6 months.
Yeah, man, everyone cleared the dance floor. They were drinking
3.5 minutes.
When that Dave Herrera dude came up, oh, man.
Exactly. Oh, but we got you figured out. I'm going to tell Christy I need a job. I'm going to work with you exclusively. I'm not going to work with anybody else.
Yeah. I'm going to say call George. He's my manager, man. He handles all the negotiations, everything.
There you go. So, how have things been? I mean, the writing, I know you're focusing now on the writing and getting the content. Is the writing going good? Have you been able to put more pen to paper that you just haven't released yet that you're working on?
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we try to crank out a song. I mean, at least once a month for sure. Right. If not more than that, but ideas are always coming. So we jot that down just to put on the back burner to write new stuff. But it's just, I mean, there's always something that comes up and I'm like, oh, this could be a great idea for a song, or maybe this name for that, or this or that. And so I'll hammer something out and I'll get together with my co-writer, Corey Coppin. And more importantly, I mean, me and my co-writer, Corey, we have fun just writing the songs, and we'll drink a beer and hang out and laugh for an hour or so, and then high five, and then get together the week after or something. But I think the best part is getting together with Corey and putting these songs together, because it's just a crack up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's so cool to hear the songs, because I mean, one of the big things, like you said, and I've always said this about country music, you're trying to do that same thing, is it's all about storytelling. That is what makes country music so great. It's storytelling. And you take that from life experiences, and it could be an experience that other people haven't had before or really don't know. And so it kind of brings them into that experience, not so much into your world, but it transports them to a different experience and a new experience. Just like, Hella Country, you're talking about the wine country and you're talking about rice fields. And I will say I know a thing or two about rice fields because I have pulled the levee gates out of those things while running from snakes. And that's not fun. Missouri is notorious for that. But we have several rice fields around here, so I know what that's like. But it just kind of transports people, and I mean, just like that, it gives them, like a part of something they may have experienced.
And if they haven't, I mean, at least it gives them a perspective of who I am and where I'm coming from and how I look at things. And sometimes Christy's like, because I've sent, like, you send her a song and she's like, okay, is this one? There's nothing I should be worried about in this one, right? Because like the song My First 6ix9ine, just the name is kind of like,
yeah,
it'll offend people, right?
Right.
Just things we've done in other videos and stuff. I'm learning as I go.
Right.
So I thought, oh man, you can do this and that, and it's not even a big deal, but it can offend people, and I'm learning that very easily. I mean, but you want to be yourself, and it's like, how do you do that with a good balance? Without offending people. So it's like, I'm not trying to stay in any red box by any means, but at the same time, I'm trying to respect people in general.
Right.
So when I have a perspective or something, I mean, I could take it to completely left field or completely right field. I mean, just out of the box, but I try to hone it a little bit just by changing certain words in a song. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Just a few little words here and there, and it can make it deeper one way or too light or whatever. So that's why I think it's fun to storytell and utilize wordsmith words to create these songs and to paint your own perspective and share your own experiences, because just a few words here and there takes it a whole different direction. And like, there's a song, Boys Were Back in Town, and I use the F word in it. Christy's like, hey, hold on, that's kind of going overboard. It's like, so if you haven't heard that song, check that one out. It's on YouTube and streaming platforms. But like, originally visiting Nashville, it said, it was like Merle Haggard, Luke Bryant, that's the shit. And then that was the original version, but now it says that's the mix. So, I mean, they were like, if you put the word "that's the shit," I mean, it's going to offend kids. It's going to offend parents. I mean, they may take it away. I said, I understand. I get it. And I have kids too, so I'm like, I don't want to do anything that's going to piss someone off. Or
absolutely, yeah. I've gotten a phone call from playing a song that had the word "shit" in it. From an angry dad who heard it on the side. I was at a remote and he called me. He was that angry. So yeah, you got to be careful with that one, especially.
You do. And I think my stuff is still like, I mean, it's definitely not in center line. It's not like, I'll get people that reply back to me. They're like, that ain't straight up country music. And it's like, I know. I mean, if we're trying to create what's already been created, I mean, they've already created it. The great classic country artists have already done it. I mean, they're amazing, and that's why they are who they are. And I said, I can't compete with them. I mean, I'm not a Garth Brooks and I'm not a Merle Haggard and none of that. I just do who I am. And I want to share my stories with the style of music that I like and the sound that I have. And that's what you hear. So, but you do get people that will criticize it because they don't like the Florida Georgia lines, and they don't like this stuff with the 808s and louder, like, club drum beats or anything like that. And I get it. And know what? I respect it. I totally respect it. But I what I've learned is you can't make everyone happy. No. But there's a fine line too. There's a fine line to kind of creating music.
Oh yeah. And I mean, yours, it's not your grandmother and your dad's or your mom's country music. I say grandmother because of, they were probably listening to the Merle Haggards and the Johnny Cashes and stuff. It's not that. Their country music is so fragmented in and of itself now. I mean, I call it subgenres, and there's so many. You know, you've got country rock, you've got country pop, you've got country rap. You know, I guess you could call it. You know, some of them you listen to, and this is probably an old term, but like country crunk, you know, where it's just the bass is just blasting out, you know, and rattling everything, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's so many subgenres in country that allows everybody to pick their own lane. And you do that with your music, and you've got your lane that you're in, and it has some similarities with others, and then it has its uniqueness that is just Dave Herrera. And so that's what makes it special. You know, you've got, you know, you can put it in line with, like I said, it has a comedic feel. It's not, I mean, you didn't do it to be funny. You did it to share your experience. But with, for me, it's just, and I don't know, maybe comedic is not the best word to say. Maybe it's a more uplifting party feel, because the music it's not slow. It's very high energy. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's energetic, and it's, gosh, I've got a word in mind. That's a good word. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, that's kind of my personality. I mean, I try to, like the cup's half full type of person. I mean, I try to nurture and help my friends if they're in bad situations, like just by creating a positive vibe, taking them out, just being there as a support system, and just try to make the best out of a bad situation. And so, I mean, if a song has a comedic feel or something like that, it's kind of my personality. You know what I mean?
Right.
I look at things that way. You know what I mean? Just kind of, I like looking at things in a funny, weird situation. I'm kind of a quirky dude in a weird way.
Right. And it's kind of like, you know, my first 6ix9ine, the thing about it, people automatically go where no mind should ever go in the middle of the day. But you know, so to speak. But when you get into the song, you find out, and I'm gonna kind of reveal it if you haven't listened to it, but it's talking about a car.
Correct. My first 69 Chevelle. Correct.
Yeah. So, you know, basically the disclaimer on that, you know, where they would always put a disclaimer if there was something in the song, you know, like, you know, they used to put the labels on albums, you know.
Yeah, like parental.
Yeah, the parental advisory. So the only thing that needs is just to say, get your mind out the gutter.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not a dirty song. It's just, it's about my car, who that's all I paid attention to. I didn't pay attention to girls or anything. And that is the love of my life. And I thought it was really important to me to write about it and share the story on my view with the car, but share in a positive manner.
Right.
So I just thought it was I don't know whether it's unique or not. It's totally me.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I will say this to those watching, you have to know Dave, and you have to understand Dave, because he does have that uplifting, that energy, that he's just the guy that, to me, if we were, you know, in a close proximity where we palled around, you're the guy everybody goes to when they're having a bad day.
Yeah.
You know, but you're also the fun guy at the party. You know, you come in and that kind of thing. And that's the personality. And it kind of comes across that way in the music. And it's all good, uplifting, energetic. It just gives you those warm fuzzies of, you know, it's perfect music to listen to if you've had a bad day. That's the best way to put it, because
well,
it'll be going.
That's good. I don't know. It's just not your I guess your typical country music, but
right. It's not going to have the, you know, the oh, Lonesome Me feel to it. You know, that's not the way it was written, or Folsom Prison Blues or anything like that. It wasn't written that way. So if, you know, and some people like that, some people don't, to each their own.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you like what you listen to. And I mean, I remember this one guy telling me, no, what is it? No hat, no.
No shirt, no shoes, no service thing.
No. Is it like no hat, no cattle, no class, something like that? So he was like, look, if people don't like something, I mean, you can have class and just kind of skip the song, or there's other people that totally criticize it.
Right.
But I appreciate when people criticize it, because it's telling me, hey, they've given a listen and they don't like it.
Exactly.
And then they're into something totally different. But
right.
I don't even know if it's finding my own lane or whatever it is with music, but
Right.
I just write from the heart, really. I mean, if you ask Corey, who I write with, he'll be like, yeah, Dave comes up with the concept. He lays out what he's thinking. He puts this together, that together, this together. And I mean, if someone has it's like, I don't know, pure from the heart, trying to be genuine. And if there's something that isn't true, and Corey will tell you this when we're writing songs or something, like if he's like, hey man, maybe we add this to it. And I'm like, it's not true.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know. It just feels like it's not right to write that part of the song if it's not true. You know what I mean? I just like, can we modify it? Let's modify it this way. So what you're hearing is I'm trying to be as genuine as possible, and and everything that we put together. And hopefully it comes across that way, and hopefully it does kind of put a smile on your face, like, what the hell is this?
Right.
If I can get that out of you, like, what the hell is this? Then that made my day.
Well, and I mean, I'm not, when I say, looking for your own lane, I think it's not so much the writing. I think it's like I'm not coming across as criticizing anything, because I love the music. But like the production, it's different than what you're normally going to hear on the radio. And so it's like, you've got a particular area that is your comfort zone, and you write it truly and from your heart, and it's really you. And it's just to me, it's a little different. And I like that. I like the sound that you have. I don't know if you can't really call it like a Neo Bakersfield sound, but it's kind of
it's a Sacktown sound.
Sacktown sound. There you go.
Sacktown sound.
But it's amazing. So go check Dave out. He's got some really good stuff.
Oh, he's hyping me up. It's not amazing.
I am. It is.
I'm trying. I'm
going to tell you how amazing it is, because I'm going to play the new one, which is called Hella Country. And then we're going to come back and we'll talk about the backstory some more. We got into the crop duster and stuff. And I wish I had downloaded the video and was sharing it, because the video to me is you have to see it. The video's fun. It is fun. All the videos are fun. But one thing I have to ask, speaking of videos, before I get into Hella Country, on My First 6ix9ine, did you have red curly hair growing up?
No.
Okay.
No. I had blonde hair until I was probably 3 or 4 years old, and then it turned into brown. But the red curly hair, he's actually a really close friend of ours, son. And he's always, I can tell he's been very insecure about his hair and his looks. And he's in high school now. He's in 10th or 11th grade. And I just asked him, I said, hey Hudson, would you want to be in the video? And he was like looking at me really weird. And he's like, are you insulting me or something? I said, no, man. I mean, you grew up this afro for a reason, to be in this damn video. How long have you been growing this afro for? I said, what do you want it for? Just to blow in the wind? And he's like, all right, I'll do it. And so we brought him out there, and he was such a great sport. I mean, amazing. Good kid. Yeah. No, I did not have red hair. My grandfather on my dad's side had red hair, red mustache, all that stuff. So actually, one of my kids has strawberry blonde hair. he got that gene from my grandfather, I think.
I started to say, so it's in the family bloodline. It just skipped you along the way.
Yeah. My grandmother was born and raised in Arkansas, and my grandfather was born and raised in Wisconsin. So that gene's floating around somewhere out there.
Somebody else can have it though, right?
No, my kids do.
No offense against red hair. My grandparents, my grandfather was actually redheaded, and my mom's family, all of her brothers and sisters got it, and it skipped me. And then I got my dad's gene of not red hair, but a little to no hair.
Hey, save on the shampoo, and
right. I don't go through near as much.
There's benefits.
A little dab will do you.
Yeah, haircuts are like once every 3 months instead of.
Well, they would be. I cut mine more often than that, because the back part, my grandpa had the chrome dome, so up here it's thin, but back here it grows really fast, and so
you could probably cut it yourself.
Yeah, I could, and it would save me money. But hopefully my barber's not watching because he does. So
My father-in-law has no hair up top too, and my mother-in-law cuts his hair.
oh well,
She's good at it too, man. She whips it out. Zzz. And
I
she's
tried
not
to
a
get my
hairstylist.
wife to do that one time, and she was like, "Nope, can't do it." She did it one time, and that was it. She's like, "I can't do it. I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up." I'm like, "If you mess it up, just cut it all off. There ain't much hair anyway." and not like you're gonna.
She's like, honey, I got enough stuff to do around here. You
Right.
go to the barber, share some stories.
Yeah, go to the barber. But so Dave's got this new single out. It's called Hella Country, and I'm going to play that for you real quick and let you hear about it. But just want to let you know first off, since the last time you've been on, we've got a ton of sponsors I need to say a thank you to. We've got Go-Go Tuners. They're the go-to tuners for professional and amateur musicians alike. And go check them out at gogotuners.com. Heart to Heart Coffee. They are a big supporter of ours, and if you want to find some, it's a military owned, it's a veteran owned business, and they give 15% of all your purchases to charities, and you can even pick the charity. So go check them out. We also have Three Rangers whiskey that's come on board. And it's a great whiskey if you want to try that out. And Civvy's apparel, it's made with respect, worn by heroes and made with respect. They use recycled military uniforms in the designs of every T-shirt, every hat, every hoodie, everything they do. So they're really cool. And they're based in California, actually. And so you can check them out at civviesapparel.com. So that's my sponsor rundown, and now the show's over. No, I'm kidding.
See you guys. Woo!
See ya. Have a good night. No, before we do that, though, we're going to get to Dave. Here's Dave Herrera. This is his latest. It's called Hella Country. It's on b4Nashville. Whoops, wrong one. See, I knew that was going to happen as soon as I changed that over, and now it's not going to let me go over there. There it goes. Here we go. Dave Herrera and Hella Country.
Small town, up at sunrise, rice fields till the sun's down. Levee road, summer drought, dust in the crops, mountain range in the background. Born and raised, and I'm proud. We got roots and they ain't gonna be loud. Pop chords with twangy valves, ain't got nothing on the baker sound. So come on down to the jamboree, kick it all night or you're down with me. Blue skies far as I can see, California girls laying next to me. I'm hella country, I'm hella country, I'm hella country, I'm hella country. Coastlines, year around, cultivating in the sunshine. This way of life is a state of mind. You got yours, and I got mine. So come on down to the jamboree, kick it all night, or you jam with me. Blue skies far as I can see, California girls laying next to me. I'm hella country, I'm hella country, I'm hella country, I'm hella country. Hella country, hella country, I'm hella country, I'm hella country, hella country. So come on down to the jamboree, all night or you're down with me. Blue skies far as I can see, California girls laying next to me. I'm hella country, I'm hella country, I'm hella country. I'm
All right, that's Dave Herrera. It's called Hella Country, and it's on Before Nashville, introducing the country stars of tomorrow to the country fans of today. And tell me a little bit about the backstory on the song. Where did it come from? Where did the idea come up at? You know, we talked a little bit about the crop duster earlier and stuff like that. So
yeah, our family, we have a ranch here in Northern California, and I spend a lot of time at the ranch. I take my kids there. I'm always constantly working up there.
mm-hmm.
So while I'm there, I mean, it's a small town. There's one little tiny grocery store up there. And it's surrounded by rice fields. I mean, tons of rice fields, cattle ranchers, just people that have their own ranches, their own horses, their own animals, etc.
Right.
And every time I'm up there, I will go in the store. I'm just completely filthy, completely dirty. And I look over to the left and right, and people are wearing the same attire, and they're out there hard working, busting their tail and taking care of their properties or their animals and doing whatever it takes to kind of keep things moving along
Right.
within their family structure and their animals and stuff. And it's kind of just a way of life. I mean, you just look around you and these people are growing old doing this stuff, and they have just great stories, good people. And I just thought writing a song about being country. The word hella was derived out of Northern California. And I just said, you know what, hella country to me is just somebody that rolls up their sleeves, goes to work, with whatever work environment they're in, and just do what they can to provide for their families. And that's hella country to me. And doing what you can to be happy. And I just want to incorporate what I saw in the surroundings into a song and try to tell that as a story through the couple minutes that we had to work with.
Right. And I mean, when you listen to it, it gives you all of the details. I mean, you know, you listen to it and you can picture in your mind where you're talking about and what people are doing. And it's, again, to me, because I'm, you know, kind of from that whole, you know, I would say that Southeast Missouri and California, Southern California, where you're from, I think you're in Southern California, right? Northern California. Yeah. So there's a lot of similarities as far as, you know, we've got a lot of livestock. There's not really huge ranches out here, but a lot of people have livestock. There's, you know, farms everywhere. So I could pick up on a lot of that and relate to a lot of it. And I think that the song itself helps people that don't know about it. City folks. You know, just call the duck a duck.
What's crazy is you think about, when you think about California, I mean, immediately you're like, those people are nutballs, and all the politicians and all that shit. And everyone there is just going to be bad apples for the rest of the world.
Right.
So, but in these small towns, I mean, it's hardcore, like they're in there doing what they can to produce their rice or their orchard or whatever it can to send their products out to the rest of, whether it's the world or the United States. I mean, if you Google the amount of farmland and the revenue that's generated in California just from farm and produce, it's probably in the top 1 to 3 of gross revenue. We produce a lot of product. And food here in California. And you wouldn't believe it. I mean, because you have LA, which is huge down south, and then you have San Francisco that's up north, but in between, the Central Valley is just nothing but farmland. Mm-hmm. It's just cattle ranches. And when you drive up and down I-5, there's parts of it you have to roll up your window, and you still, some people will just gag because of the smell of manure and everything else. I mean, it's just ranches and ranches and ranches. And then up here in NorCal, I mean, we have tons of rice fields, just like everywhere, mm-hmm. Orchards and stuff like that. So it's also painting a perspective, whether you realize, I mean, some people may not know I'm from California, and if the song was written in California, what have you, but we do a lot of farming and growing what you might be eating at your table.
Right.
Year round. That's why it says cultivate year round, but it relates to anybody that's wherever in the world and working on those farms and just rolling up your sleeves and getting it done.
Well, and I mean, you know, a lot of people first thought of California and any kind of exports, they're thinking wine and oranges and some people like the reason I think of this is because my stepdad had an almond ranch, as they call it. I don't know why I still don't know why they called it a ranch. You don't round up the almonds. They don't, you know, they're not going to get out through the fence. You don't have
Take the
to.
trees.
Yeah, but that's what they called it. And so he, you know, so there's a lot of different crops that come out of there. But then you've got beef that comes from California. You know, you've got pork. I mean, they grow, they raise and grow everything that everybody else does. It's just you don't think about it because it's not so labeled as.
You're exactly right.
You know,
Yeah, you think about like Hollywood, beaches, San Francisco, and you forget about the real core of what California produces for the rest of the world, how it gives back. I mean, if you get rid of all the other stigmas, you know what I mean? So I just kind of looked around me and I said, man, California, I mean, we do a lot up here in this little town, and there's a lot of history in the town. I mean, the Donner family, there's a small cemetery that sits along the Bear River. And I like to kind of learn new things. I'm always absorbing new things, but that cemetery is where the Donner Party settled when they came, what was left of them down there at that cemetery. And so there's a few of the family members that are buried there. And it was one of the cities where the first hop farms were here on the West Coast.
Wow.
Or for the first town. So there was kind of a lot that happened here in this little town. And it's intriguing and inspiring. It kind of motivates you. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And I'm a history buff. I love to hear that kind of stuff. I love to find out history of different things and stuff like that. And that's the kind of stuff that I really get into about, you know, knowing that the Donner family, you know, that's where they settled and there are people that are buried in that cemetery. And it's like, it's just intrigues me because now I'm like, okay, now I got to go read a book about it, you know.
Yeah, Google it, you'll see you'll see the trail where they come through, and they come up through Truckee, and then they cut down towards Sacramento right into Wheatland along the Bear River. And there's still wagon trail marks from where a lot of the gold miners and other people would go to and from. And it's fascinating. I mean, it's just so fascinating.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it'd have to be. So now you've with Hella Country, I mean, like you were talking about, has that been what was it? Was released at the end of
August 31st.
August, end of August. So released to radio, of course. And is that going well?
Well, I've been kind of spending my funds on the live equipment for the show and stuff. So I told the radio guys, I said, look, man, this budget to get stuff on radio for the promoters is spendy.
Right.
I was like, I need to go spend the stuff on the equipment for the live shows. So I sent it out to radio through the standard procedures through the MPE or whatever.
Right.
And then I actually built myself a database. This may be boring to you, but I built myself. I can show it to you on my phone right now. Build a database with a calendar, because this is how much I care about it. And if the radio people hate me for it, they hate me for it. But I built myself a database, and in this calendar, I have a calendar every week. And it comes up with a ticker. Everybody that has calls on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Fridays are open to only a couple stations that are open on Fridays. So I started calling myself. I just started calling, and I know it's almost impossible, but I want to introduce myself. I just want to say, hey, I'm a real person. I'm working hard. I take this seriously. I just want to call and say, hey, how's it going? Give the song a listen or whatever. So I did, and I've been doing that. And then there was a gentleman, a local promoter, radio promoter from Nashville that said, hey, man, I think this song needs to be on the radio. I truly do. And I said, okay, are you just being a sales guy?
I don't need a car.
I said, you're a good sales guy, man. I mean, so he said, I'd like to at least try to help you out. And so he's been making some phone calls too, to see if he can kind of build that avenue. And I've been seeing how many singles and great artists there are out there releasing singles on a daily basis to the radio. And I said, in order for me to even cut through and be considered for something like that, I mean, first off, the radio has to know who you are. And second off, I mean, you have to have a budget. And then, so it's going to be hard for me to get through it. So we're just going to work diligently and see if we can get a few ads on some of the stations to get some support. And I want to, I mean, I'd like to go back and next year, make my circle around to as many stations as I can and just stop by and do a little live performance or something just to pay homage to these guys and gals that are giving me support or not giving me support, just to introduce myself. And I'd like to also meet some of these people at the CRS too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who else is going to make it in this year, but I was there. I was at 10:05. Tickets, the registration was at 10 o'clock. I was at 10:05 getting mine. So, and to the best of my knowledge, by 10:30 or 10:45, it was still open, which is unusual. Usually it sells out pretty quick. So, but we will be down there, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to go, and we've got friends that'll be there, and of course, love to go to the showcases or, someplace to see the music of the different artists that I've, got to meet or got to continue relationships through the podcast of working in radio and stuff. And so that's always fun. And so it'll be an exciting time. And
yeah, they have some great seminars and just, the new things that are happening and evolving in the industry. And I mean, I'm just, like I told you earlier, I'm a sponge. So I enjoy learning on what people are doing and how they're doing it to grow the platforms and stuff like that. So,
right. So speaking of that, have you jumped on the TikTok bandwagon yet?
Yeah, we have. We have. We're starting to do more TikToks. I mean, you kind of have to do it in this new age and era, but it's actually fun. I mean, some of my kids will even put some little TikToks together because they're kind of trying to figure it out. But we'll release some stuff here and there. If you go to my TikTok, Dave Herrera Live, and you can check out some of the little stuff that we're trying to put together.
Right.
It may not be as entertaining as some of the other stuff out there, but we're doing our best right now, and we're going to try to evolve in that as well.
And that's, I mean, and TikTok, it just blew up as a platform. You got Instagram, you got Facebook, and if you look at, I'm like you, I'm a sponge. When it comes to the industry, I'm reading everything I can and checking out, this survey or that survey. And, Facebook is kind of for my crowd down to about 45. And then you got Instagram. That's right now about 25 to 44. And then below that, it's more the TikTok crowd. But you see the numbers on these and you compare the numbers, you can take an artist and here's one of the things that I think people don't consider. You can look at an artist. Okay. They've got 100,000 followers on Facebook. They've got 500,000 on TikTok, and they've got 300,000 on Instagram. But the thing that you have to me, in working with these platforms for the podcast and stuff, the one thing that I have to remember is don't look at what you have, look at what you've gotten. How many new people are following you on each of those platforms to tell you where, because I don't do a lot of TikTok stuff. Because that's, I probably should, because that younger audience is kind of coming more into, you go to the concerts, that's the age range that you see, that younger 25 to 44 type of crowd.
Yeah. Especially the festivals.
Yeah. And so that may be the crowd that you want to aim at with the way country music's going right now. And so if you're getting a lot of newer followers there, then that's where you want to focus. Yeah.
I noticed, like Hollywood Sign, when that song first came out, the demographic was really like 35 to 65 plus. And it started like gradually growing like a bell curve type of thing.
Right.
But it wasn't really in the 20s. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And the video was really about a guy and a girl telling a story. And then visiting Nashville, it started, it was more in the 20s. It started growing more in the 20s. So that was kind of interesting. So I'm kind of watching the Hella Country, and Hella Country is kind of like, it's kind of both. And I'm trying to figure out why it's doing that. But also with like, you can kind of track some demographics on your advertising, see who's clicking. Right. And I'm trying to figure out what other followers are doing with other country artists or pop artists or rock artists and stuff. And I think everyone's trying to figure this out too.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot of the males are more reactive than the females, maybe on more of the music related stuff. I don't know if that's true or not, but what I've seen it is. But on like on the Facebook stuff, like if it's a family thing, it's more the females and less males.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting to see how those demographics are working. So on the TikTok, it does seem like the younger demographic, because like if we post something and then we look at who's added as a new follower, who's liked it, it is someone between, I don't know, if it's 16 or 18 and 28 years old. There's much younger demographic. And then Instagram, you're right, it's an in-betweener. Facebook's kind of seems like it's getting a little bit older demographic, more family. So
yeah. And it's, you know, it's interesting because like I said, I'm a sponge when it comes to this stuff. And I try to, especially with the social media, because I want to be able to, if an artist were to ask me a question about social media, I want to be able to answer it as truthfully as possible. I don't want to become an expert on it because I don't have time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Too much time to do that. But I feel like that as an artist, you have to look at that. You have to be aware of that stuff if you're doing it on your own. I mean, if you have a team that can handle that, great. You know, like if you've got a Sony Music Nashville, or you've got Big Machine, or one of these guys, you know, they have people that handle that stuff. So
that's why their name's Big Machine. I mean, they got a machine.
Exactly.
It's a machine.
And so, I mean, you know, the independent artists have to do this on their own. And so I just kind of just like to know it because, you know, being in a platform where I want people to watch, then how do I draw more people in? Well, I have to use social media more. And in order to do that, my wife helps me with all this because she works in her side gig that she does. They do so much social media. And I go to her with every question I have because I don't know.
Yeah, it is challenging. I mean, running ads works. I mean, you could specifically niche certain zip codes and age demographics. I mean, just to see, like, it'll break down on a graph, like the ages where the people are from, the whole 9 yards, if they clicked through it or if they watched it or what have you. So it's kind of fascinating to see how it all works, and then you wonder why, and then that's where you're stumped. You're like, what's going on here? Was it okay? It's pictures, it's colors, it's sound, it's everything. So these people that work at like these major corporations or these big record labels, they have it down. Yeah. I don't know if they might have these like, what are they? The tester groups. Yeah. That they may send it out to first. And then they get feedback on, hey, they send out 10 different album covers with different colors and different looks. And then they take a vote. They may be doing something like that. And maybe that's what we should be doing too. But I just think getting down with the grassroots and doing what I'm doing now, I really appreciate it. And it makes you really look at these large labels and these artists and really appreciate what they're doing, because it is not easy. It ain't easy. And being part of, like, looking at how big that machine is and how difficult it is to even be, you can't even get close to the wheel. It's just going to chop you up.
Exactly.
And you're just trying to go whoop, 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 whoop.
And I mean, for me, I'm just sitting there going, I just have this dumb blank look on my face of going, my wife will tell me you have to do, you know, like she was talking about reels on Instagram the other night. And she goes, do you have reels on your Instagram? I'm going, I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, you know, I don't know. If I do, I don't use them. And because she said that she didn't have reels on hers. They had just done a training about using reels. And I'm like, I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
I don't know that
it's basically posting a video. Yeah, it's a video reel. And you can do a longer video reel and it stays up. It stays up and people can watch. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So maybe I need to get into that. And if I can ever figure out a way I have a way to connect the podcast to Instagram, but I have to be really quick about it. So it's like I almost have to be into the show before I can get it going. And so I'm going to have to start doing that, because I'd love to get it on Instagram to where, you know, it's another platform. The same way with TikTok. If I could, you know, but TikTok, I think they finally upped your limit of what you can do to 6 minutes. So,
but you know what you can do is, I mean, you can put a teaser of whatever the interview is or something, and make sure you use cool colors and just other stuff that are kind of fascinating. And then maybe you even build a cool teaser of someone doing something at the beginning, dancing around or doing something, but then it has a link to promote it. And you kick back to the link and they can watch the full episode. Because you'll find people like the young kids, they'll just go through, watch it, because everyone has such a short attention span right now, right?
Right.
So they'll go through it. Okay, don't like. And it's amazing to see how fast these people go through these TikToks, because they'll know whether they like something or not within like a second or two.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. And then if they somewhat like it, it's like, okay, I'll give it 5 seconds, and then either they draws them in or it doesn't, because they're waiting for the ending. Oh, keep going. But if you can somehow find those people that are willing to, and it might be the demographic of people that like podcasts. Oh, I want to check this out and listen to this.
Right.
And you just catch that person that goes through it. But that's a good way to maybe promote it. Same with Reels. Put a teaser on there and put your link on the bio or something.
That's some good idea. I tell you what, when we get done here, I'll talk to you about social media, and then you can talk to me about how we can promote the song in Nashville. How's that?
I'm gonna go dance around in a clown outfit in Nashville and CRS.
Oh, been there, done that.
It's my turn now, George.
Right.
Give me the baton.
But been there, done that. At least they tell me I was. How's that?
Yeah, give me a good bail contact. Get this guy out of here.
Exactly. Well, so what? I mean, from here, what's your next move? I mean, you're looking at the chessboard and you're trying to figure out where you're going to go next. What's your next move?
Well, I mean, just continue to put out content, but believe it or not, we have a holiday song we're going to put out, but it's not like your typical Jingle Bells. It's another weird one, George. Here we come. We're coming with yet another weird one. You're going to love it. Radio's going to hate me more. All I do is I do it to entertain people at radio. I'm like, here I am again. Knock, knock, knock. Yeah. Please open the door. Come on. Give me an opportunity.
To announce that one, just send him a video of one of those animated dancing Santas sitting on a desk, They'll love that. You can't afford to send one to everybody, so here you go. Here's your dancing Santa,
Yeah, there we go. So we're gonna put that together and send it out and just have fun with it. And then really the goal is to get out there and start doing some shows and getting in front of people and right. Just continue to promote the content in person. And we just want to get people to drink and have fun at the shows. Right. Whether you don't drink or not, just get out there and have fun. Get your ass off the dance floor or out to the dance floor and off the seats. And, right. and that's the goal. It just make people happy, really. Hopefully. And
just have some fun with it. Hey, man, that works, though. That's the best way to do it. So if you want to find out about anything going on with Dave Herrera Live, that is the website. And you can go there, and your social media links and all that stuff are right there. They can get their PDQ if they go that way. And just
you can go to DaveHerreraLive.com. That's Dave HerreraLive.com, and you can go click on the social media links and hopefully start following, because building followers is tough. Ask George. I mean, we're out there grinding. Every artist is out there grinding. It ain't easy. It is not easy.
It's not easy.
At least check out the videos, check out the songs, and show us some love. And if you're another artist, send me your music. I'd love to hear it. I love exchanging music and hearing what other people are doing, because getting in front of people is tough, especially even with the digital age. There's so much out there. I mean, you're getting thrown in front of so much content from other people on a daily basis through all these social media platforms.
Absolutely. So check Dave out. Check him out on all the streaming platforms. Download the music, and that's always a big help. Go to his website. He does have some merch on there. The merch still active.
Oh yeah.
T-shirts and stuff. So go. I always try to encourage people now to reach out to the artist and to get their merch, and because it helps you guys. I mean, that's another kind of a revenue source that, especially after the past year and a half that we've had, will help out.
Yeah. That's how most people are surviving out there on the road.
Yeah,
selling their merch for the most part. I mean, some of my buddies. I mean, if you can make $500,000, $800,000, I mean, that's a great night. If you can make more, great. Yeah, and that'll get you to the next city and help cover some food and gas costs. So yeah, buying merch always helps. Supporting artists. Do what you can. I mean, being an indie artist is tough. We're begging for help.
Yeah. So get on out there, support Dave, support all these other indie artists, and buy the merch, download the music, help them out that way. But most of all, become a fan. That's what we want to do. We want you to become a fan. We want you to become a follower, not just a fan, but click that follow button, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever. social media. They've got a new one and coming out now that my wife was telling me about the other day. And I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, like I got enough. I'm managing 3 platforms right now, honey.
I'm going to have to drop one to pick up a new one. It's not going to be, I'm going to add 2. I'm not that, my mind doesn't work that way.
It is tough. You're like, okay, F for Facebook, I for Instagram, T for Twitter, T for TikTok. I mean, it's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. And it's like, like you were talking about the calendar of talking to the different radio stations. You have to have a calendar. Okay, I'm going to post this on this day on this platform, or if they'll cross post as Facebook and Instagram will, I can cross post it on that, or you can do it through, whatever. So, Hootsuite, or I don't know what all that may be an old one that I don't even know if Hootsuite is even active.
What the databases? Which one? The databases?
Yeah, where you can like put in all your social media and it'll just shoot everything out to one.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it was called Hootsuite, and you could schedule. So you could put it like, okay, 3 days from now, I want to put, a teaser out for this. And so here's the teaser. Here it is. I'm going to put it in this part of it, schedule it for 3 days out. 3 days it works.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone's made a mistake where they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like there's some current event that happened and you're like, oh, that can't go out.
Yeah.
Cancel.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
And then of course, as technology happens, it goes, nope, not going to cancel.
Exactly. Computer not working right now. Website down.
Right. You get that lovely error 403. I can't reach the page. It's no longer there, like that. And it's like, oh, great. Now what am I going to do?
That's so funny.
But check Dave out. I mean, and then just drop him a line in social media if you get over there and say hi, tell him I sent you. And he may not respond. I don't know.
Oh, no, I try to respond to everybody, even people that are just like total critics. I'm like, I try to just be real polite and, hey, man.
Kill him with kindness. That's what it is.
Yeah. My country sound isn't it's not mountain country. It's not that country, but hey, man, like I appreciate what you like. So
right.
I usually ask them, I'm like, send me some tracks that you guys like. I want to check out some new stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so they'll send me stuff. They're like, all right, listen to this. This is my boy from such and such. And I'm like, that's actually pretty damn good. I was like, yeah. And I start listening to it. So it's cool. So then I give them a thumbs up. I'm like, later, man, next time. Yeah.
Next time, be nice, but send me more music. I love listening to it. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But check Dave out. I know. Once you get to know him, once you get to follow him, you're going to love him. He is a great guy. He's funny. He's cool to be around. I mean, we've just been on here for a little over an hour, and it just feels like we were, sitting out on the back porch around the bonfire, having a beer and talking. And
that's what my buddy, see, we do bonfires at our place. Well, it's been summer, so we've been just drought.
Right.
A huge drought. But my buddy is in construction. Actually, the guy playing the drums in Hella Country, his name's Ryan. He's been saving pallets and like excess lumber material. First off, that stuff's like gold right now.
Exactly.
I'm telling you. So he's been saving all this stuff, and he's got like a huge pile of it. And he called me this morning. He's like, I'm not kidding you. The first rain, I'm calling you, and we're going up there and we're having a bonfire. It doesn't have to be the biggest bonfire, but we're having bonfire, beer, and poker. And I said, all right, let's go. So that was the first call this morning that I got was my boy Ryan. So he's like, let's go for it. So when you mentioned bonfires, I mean, we enjoy hanging out around the bonfires, just drinking beer. And whether if we're not talking, we're staring at each other or staring out at the grass or the cows or whatever. Just chilling, trying to think of just stuff.
That's the way we do. We get in the backyard. We have a fire pit. We'll throw some wood in there. We'll light it up and play cornhole. And which our daughter decided she wanted a drinking game cornhole set. So we had it custom made, and it's going to be exciting when we get some people over here to play that.
That's always fun. It's funny. After like 2 or 3 beers, you get better. You loosen up.
Exactly.
It's like darts with me. Like after a couple beers, I get closer to the bullseye.
Because by that point you're like, oh well, you're putting too much into aiming, I think, beforehand.
Yeah, you're right. You're like, who cares where this thing goes? You're like, whoa, great, okay. I'm kind of a natural talent at this. Then you start getting too confident, and then it's like,
and then it goes back to crap again. So you're like, well, shit.
Yeah, we have this frisbee game we play. I mean, we'll have like a Coors Light can on one side. We put this post in the dirt or in a bucket with gravel on each side. And it's about, I don't know, 30, 35 feet away. And then we put a Coors Light can on it. And there's 2 guys or gals on each side. And then you throw a Frisbee and you try to knock off the other beer can. And the other team has to try to catch the Frisbee. If they catch it, they don't have to drink. And if you hit the beer can, you have to try to catch the beer can and the Frisbee. But if the Frisbee hits the ground or the beer can hits the ground, it's 1 drink for the Frisbee and 2 drinks for the beer can.
Oh, wow.
So someone's trying to focus on the beer can, trying to catch it, and the next person's trying to focus on the Frisbee. So it's meant for people with like OCD.
Really mess them up.
Yeah. Like I'm sitting there like, okay, cool. This is perfect for me.
Yep. That's awesome. I'll have to remember that one. We may have to try that.
Yeah. It's a good game.
So I think we may even load up the cornhole games and take them to Nashville or down there and play them in the hallway of the hotel or something.
That's actually a great idea. If you do that, invite me. Send me an invite. I'll come over.
Yeah, we'll have them set up in the hotel lobby and just have, because it's a drinking game. We'll all be good and plastered by the end of the night. The way I play cornhole, trust me.
Hopefully, it has super high ceilings. You know what I mean? Check this one out, grenade.
Behind the back, over the head. Oops, there went a light. My bad, it's his fault.
Hey, concierge got stuck in the chandelier. We need help.
Exactly.
We really broke 1 lamp.
Yeah, it was a small one.
Yeah.
Sort of small. But anyway, check Dave out and give him a like and give him a follow and check out the music and all that good stuff. And we will be back on Thursday night. Got another podcast on the way. I think I'll have to double check the calendar here. And I believe Thursday night. What is Thursday night? No, it's next week. I'm thinking, yeah. I thought I knew who was coming on, but it's not who I thought it was. So now I'm all messed up. So
your wife must have switched the calendar around.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the wrong one. So anyway, join me again on Thursday night and check out Dave Herrera, DaveHerreraLive.com. You can get to all the social media. You can get to the Spotify and all that stuff right there. Check him out. And until next week, we will see you guys later. Have a great night.
Thank you, George.
All right, Dave. We'll see you, buddy.
See ya.